What's going on, everyone? Ash here with a news update on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's been a while, but Smash Bros. Series creator and director Masahiro Sakurai is back with another column in the latest issue of Japanese gaming magazine Famitsu. While this column has not yet been translated in full, our friends over at Nintendo Everything and Source Gaming have translated key excerpts which we're summarizing for you here. This particular column is a bit different in that it doesn't contain much that we don't already know, but it does offer new details and context for elements that were revealed in the recent Smash Bros. Direct, such as Ken, Incineroar, and online play. And speaking of Ken, let's start things off with him. According to Sakurai, players should think of Ken as a fighter that's suited to players who, and I quote, make the most of the frames they're given. That's a rather technical comment coming from Sakurai, who prefers to emphasize the fun aspect of Smash Bros. Rather than the competitive aspect, so hardcore players may want to take note. But as we all know, Ken isn't the only new character that has recently been revealed. Switching gears to Incineroar, Sakurai reveals that one of the reasons Incineroar was chosen over other Pokemon to represent Sun and Moon is because he's always wanted to try designing a pro wrestler character. Sakurai also takes this opportunity to pay his respects to Mr. Unsho Ishizuka, the Japanese voice actor for Incineroar, Professor Oak, and other Pokemon voices who recently passed away at the age of 67. Of course, we at GameXplain also offer our thoughts and condolences to Mr. Ishizuka's friends and family. Next, Sakurai briefly touches on the topic of Amiibo, explaining that it takes about a year for them to be produced from their original prototypes. We already know that Inkling, Ridley, and Wolf are the only new Amiibo that will be ready for Smash Bros. Ultimate's launch on December 7th, with the rest coming in 2019, and this would appear to explain why. Sakurai then touches on the removal of collectible trophies from Smash Bros. Ultimate, mentioning that he reached that decision fairly quickly because creating them takes more effort and development resources than people might realize. Instead, he says, he wanted to focus the team's efforts toward the everyone is here concept of bringing every past fighter back into the roster. Moving on, Sakurai seems to acknowledge some of the general confusion surrounding Spirits Mode and offers a reassurance that everything will make more sense once players start experiencing it for themselves. He also says he'll summarize the mode's design after the game's release. Online play is the next topic of the day, but rather than revealing anything new about it, Sakurai mainly reiterates what was covered in the recent Smash Bros. Direct. The distance between players is of paramount importance to the quality of online play, and that factor is given top priority during online matchmaking. Sakurai also briefly revisits the subject of Elite Smash Mode, which is only available to players with a high skill level and prevents them from being matched up with beginners. Sakurai says that performing well enough online to achieve this honor definitely gives you some bragging rights. Next, Sakurai comments on the Piranha Plant fighter and says he'll be available 1 to 2 months after Smash Bros. Ultimate's release. Again, this is something we basically already knew, but it's nice to get more confirmation of that release window. As we near the end of the column, Sakurai says that he'd like to write about the World of Light adventure mode if the opportunity presents itself, but that as of right now, the mode is finished and the game has already gone gold. To provide some additional context for this, Sakurai also mentions that the project plan for Smash Bros. Ultimate was completed around December of 2015, meaning development took around 3 years in total. Interestingly, this also indicates that Ultimate had already been planned out and begun development by the time Corrin and Bayonetta were released as Smash 4's final DLC characters in early 2016. And that brings us to the conclusion of this summary and of this news update. Thanks once again to Nintendo Everything and Source Gaming for their translations of this latest Sakurai column. We've provided links to both their websites in the video description below, so make sure to pay them a visit after you're done here. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and follow us on social media, which you can also find links to in the video description below. Otherwise, keep it on GameXplain for more on Smash Bros. Ultimate and all things gaming.